welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Aliki Samone, a vibrant, colorful entrepreneur who lives for the fusion of science and creativity. And she is right now, first welcome to the show, Aliki, and then we'll come
Thank
to
you
other
so much. It's great to be here. I'm excited to chat with you all tonight.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India. I'm sure not just in India, but across the world and so many places in video, audio, and text, which this show will certainly be going on. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from you. So, Alkai, let me ask you first this question in this way. You were a spacecraft designer, and now you are helping many people reach to their stars,
Yep.
for their, and a lot of people do believe that they will reach to their summit, reach to the stars, but many of them believe that it's the fault in their stars and they will never be able to do that. So I want to ask you that what would you like to tell those people who believe that it's because of the fault in the stars? Can they reach the stars with a plan? Tell us about the plan. Tell us about the conquering of the summit. Tell us about reaching for the stars. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's a great question. And I just have to say, I love how you worded that, phrase of the fault in the stars to reaching their stars. That's a beautiful imagery to, what we're about to talk about. My book, Conquer Your Summit, How to Build a 5-Year Plan and Live Your Best Life, has a lot of that imagery of trying to take you through this journey of climbing this mountain in life. And I talk a lot about how there are issues and, failures and hiccups and, problems that come along the way, right? So, fault in your stars is such a beautiful way of putting that. So, I'm here to, I guess, cut to the chase and say, no, you too. If you believe that you have fault in your stars, no, you can do this. You can get to your dreams. You can get to where you want to be. You just need a plan to get there. And my book, which I'll show you, I have my book right here. This book that I'm going to be talking about here in this book.
Hold it for a few more seconds so
Yeah,
that
of course.
wonderful, wonderful.
So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed writing and publishing this novel here so that I could share with the world methods that I have developed over the last 10 years to try and help other people figure out how to get rid of those roadblocks and reach, the peak of their summit, to reach the stars. And, especially if you feel like you have faults along the way, how to get there. It's simple that you just need a plan. And that also sounds complicated. You easily would be like, okay, sure, but how? How do I make a plan? What does that plan entail? What does that look like? Well, it comes in the form of looking at 4 key areas of success. You have to analyze your personal growth, your financial freedom, your career success, and your community impact. These are these 4 pillars that you have to analyze every aspect of your 5 years, your 2 years, and your yearly goals to make progress in order to feel like you can get past those hurdles that make you feel like there's faults, in the stars. And to get there, there's really 3 phases. There's mental tools, planning tools, and execution tools. So we can dive in a little bit into each one of those, and that'll kind of help you feel like, how do you break through those barriers? Mental
Absolutely.
tools. Yeah. Yeah.
Carry on.
Okay, great. No worries. Mental tools are, the fundamental base, when you're building this mountain, when you're packing your backpack and you're about to go climb to the peak of, a big summit or to reach a big goal in life, you need to pack a big backpack full of all of your tools and supplies for the day, for the week, for the month, however long you're on this journey. Those are your mental tools. You're going to pack in finding your why. So, what is your purpose? Like, what drives you each day? What makes you happy and tick and brings you forward? I go over a way to actually figure that out. But once you have that, you then pack a positive growth mindset. Yes, in today's day and age, it's very easy to be negative about certain things, and we all have, issues that come up. But learning to take situations that maybe are less than ideal and transferring them into something positive in your mind will allow you to fundamentally get over those hurdles. When you believe that you can't reach that mountain peak or you can't get to that goal, that's a negative mindset seeping in and trying to, you know, take its hold on you. If you practice this tool that you're going to put on your backpack of changing negative thoughts into positive mental attitudes, you will get better. We call it the mindset change muscle, and you've got to work on it. You got to go to the gym and work out your mindset change muscle so that in tough times, you're ready to change a challenging situation into a positive one. And the third mental tool in your backpack is going to be mind, body, spirit. So when you come up against those four pillars, right, which I talked about personal growth, financial freedom, career success, and community impact, let's say you come across something challenging in your job or in your career or how to think forward on that. Well, and you don't know what to do. And it's causing all kinds of stress and anxiety and you're not getting anywhere. You have to learn to take a moment and pause and just ask yourself, okay, how does my mind feel? How's my body feel? How's my spirit feel? And what it really does is just forces you for, 2 minutes to become present out of the kerfluffle of whatever your worries might be. And then you are present with these three mental tools. Again, knowing your why, having a positive growth mindset, and being able to go through this mind, body, spirit exercise, you have everything you need in your backpack to start making a plan, which in circle to answer your question is you can reach success even if you feel like you can't if you have a plan. However, the best way to get rid of those initial hurdles before getting into details of how to make a plan is to have mental tools ready to get that negative energy out of your mind and to bring positive energy forward.
Absolutely. Positive energy forward. Now, let me ask you this. A lot of people believe that, life is about being spontaneous and not too much about planning. How do you calibrate both these things at the same time, that you just don't spend your life in planning and the life passes you by? How do you see that? How do you calibrate both the things?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question. Let's see. Basically, you know, I talk about this in the book actually because it's one of the most common things I hear from people, especially since my book being subtitled How to Build a 5-Year Plan. I'm sure there's plenty of people have said, you don't need a 5-year plan. I don't do a 5-year plan. 5-year plans are, worthless. They don't actually provide value. Ah, well, I disagree. And I disagree because they provide context to making, a roadmap for your future. And like any, getting to any destination, there's multiple ways to get there. If I get into a car and I start driving somewhere, sure, there's like the efficient path, but usually, there are other paths that you could take, and maybe they just take you longer. Maybe it's a more scenic route, but there's lots of ways to get to the finish line. What the 5-year plan does is allows you to see all of those different possible paths. And as you go along your journey, it can change. So, what I say to people who say, look, you should just live life, you know, off the cuff and just, be in the moment and, move stone to stone and just be happy. I say, yeah, you should. Yes, you are correct. You should do that. However, if on the side, if in addition, you spend what I talk about in my book is called the summit event, which is this all day agenda where you spend the time to say, what is my current state within personal growth, finances, career, and community? What what am I doing today? And if I think about time, what's 5 years from now? How old will I be? What will my family be doing? Where would I want to be? And you start allowing yourself to think and grow with what that would look like. Then you can start in that whole all day event, which is full of, you know, fun and celebrations. And it's not just all planning. Don't worry. um, you start architecting out pieces of what do you do in year 1? What do you do in year 2? How do you get to this goal that's far away? It's not set in stone. And that's the whole goal and the whole point of this plan is you can change at any point. In fact, it's designed that every 3 months or once a quarter, you're supposed to go back in and look at that plan and say, "Oh, where am I now? Did I reach what I said I was going to do in these 3 months? Yes? Awesome. Let's keep going. No? Why? Did I change my mind? Do I suddenly not want to do that anymore? Have I learned this entirely new amazing passion that I want to incorporate into my life? Great. Replan. But there's so many people out there that don't spend the time to even think about where they want to be in their future. And then they wake up in, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they're like, "How did I get here? I had all of these dreams and aspirations in my life and I did nothing about it." And it's true. Because if you don't make a plan, you in general, you won't get there or, it's going to be very hard. That one of my favorite quotes, is, a dream without a plan is just a wish. So we all need to make some plans so that we can start wishing on stars, reaching our stars, getting to the peak of these summits and living the life that is the best life that we can live for ourselves by being the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can also say that a plan is the plane to take you to the stars.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this way: why 5 year plan? Why not less? Why not more? Is there anything to do, especially with a 5 year plan? Secondly, along with that is a lot of people uh, think that start planning so much that leads to a lot of it's almost like they want to control their life, and that there are no other external factors. It's like a to-do list, a long to-do list which you want to finish in one day, and then that leads to anxiety. A lot of people almost like you are controlling all the events at the same time, which does not happen, which cannot happen. Universe is a very dynamic thing. And so how does this work? Why a 5 year plan? And what's the difference between planning and controlling your happenings, day-to-day happenings in your life?
I like that. So let's address why 5 years. The short answer to that is what? Why does everybody always just talk about 5 years? Why not three? Why not seven? Why not 10? So 5 years really comes from a couple of things. One being you know, it's this kind of magic number. I mean, it really just depends on everyone's different beliefs of a magic number, but fives tends to be something, 5, 15, 10, 20. We as humans think a lot in fives. So five is just easy. That's a silly answer, but it's true that the brain thinks in fives. But there's some there's some science out there that talks about the brain and talks about how, you know, our bodies kind of transfer over every 7 years in all of our cellular, beings and we change. That over time, not only do things around us change? We go to school, we don't go to school, or we then get a job and we stay in that job for our entire career, or we move in a career, or we have children, or we, have family that we're taking care of, or, all of these things happen through our lives. You start a business and, things kind of go in that 5-year period. People are resetting their lives in this 4 to 7-year timeline. And so 5 makes it this, nice, easy number where in general, most of your life activities are going to be resetting within that 5-year sunset. And that allows you to kind of see far enough to have a long-term vision, but not too far where it's like, okay, 20 years from now, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing 20 years from now. So 5 is kind of the end of that cliff where we can conceptualize in our minds 5 years, and then less than that, not a problem. You could easily make a plan for 3 years or 2 years. You start losing a little bit of that longer planning. So I'll give a quick example, actually. When I first started working, I was someone who's like, I had a lot of drive. I wanted, I've been someone who's like, I want to be the best at everything my whole life. I want everything to be perfect. But, it caused all kinds of problems for me being a perfectionist. But it made it so that when I started working, I thought, oh, I want to be a manager. I look up to my manager. They're really great. I want to be just like them. In fact, heck, the director in this company, this person's really cool too. I love the way they lead the organization. I want to do that. So I started having these big goals where I just, jumped out of an engineering school, but I was ready to figure out how I was going to be a director, at my company. And they would say, oh, you need 15, 20 years of experience in order to be in that role, which I'm sure that's a true, statistic. And I also know that there are some companies that it doesn't take that long. If you prove yourself with skill and opportunity, you can get there. So if I didn't think that far in advance, if I didn't think I just started out of college, but 5 years from now, I could see myself, maybe as a director or maybe as a manager. Maybe that's the 5-year mark, maybe the 10-year mark as a director. I don't know. But the point being that 2 or 3 years, uh, that's probably not far enough in the future for me to really think that big of a jump. And what a 5-year plan allows you to do is say, what's that big leap I want in life? Okay, it's out there. Well, I'm here, big leap. I'm going to change it around. Big leaps over here, and I'm here. How do I get there? How do I take one step or one large leap each year in that direction? And that's kind of the key to a 5-year plan versus a smaller amount of time. Is too small, and you're not going to be able to see your life far enough in advance to do the activities that would be required to reach those big goals. Maybe you're saving because you want to buy a house. Maybe you want to do a big career change, like I mentioned. Maybe you are training you're a training athlete and you're working to do a very, big competition. Some of these big goals you might have in life, if you have like really big goals, they don't happen overnight. And oftentimes they don't happen, within a year or two. They take a dedicated approach to get there. So 5 years will help you get there. And each of the 4 areas of success, personal growth, financial, career, and community, you're going to focus on each one of those 4 to get there. So you say, okay, what are my personal goals from now? What about financially? What about career-wise? What about community-wise? And then you just start backing those off, saying, cool, what are the mini steps? What are the mini pieces I need to do to reach becoming a director at my company? And how do I insert each one of those mini steps as a goal each year leading up to that 5th year. And then
Right.
you
Right.
have it, a 5-year plan.
Absolutely. 5-year plan, indeed. So, how do I decide on the summit that I need to conquer? I guess you are talking about purpose. So, how do I do that? And how do I plan for it? And at the same time, you talk about how to make today awesome that yesterday gets jealous. So, what is this today? You talk about planning for the future, you want to make today so awesome. How do I do that? Or is it that today is the outcome of what I planned 5 years back? How do you put those things together? How do I decide on my summit? And how do I plan for that?
Awesome. All right. So, how do you decide on your summit? First, it is something I go over in the book called mind mapping. So, I don't expect people to be like, you know what? I don't have a 5-year plan. I need to figure out my plan, but I already know kind of what I want to do. I just need a method to write it down. If you're that person, you can check out this book. You can go through any of the templates and worksheets, and you can write down your plan in a methodological approach. Or you're like many people who I don't know what those summits should be, don't know what to, chart each mountain to go towards. Well, we do mind maps. And that's, I think, the big value is saying, okay, let's do a mind map. A mind map is where you take a piece of paper, and in my book, I ask you guys to have a notebook. And throughout the book, you're going to be doing exercises and actually writing out, some of this information and brainstorming. It's very interactive. It's very workbook like, so that you can start figuring out what you want because it's all there. It's all in our minds. We just don't give ourselves the mental space. Most of us don't give ourselves the time or mental space to actually think about what we want out of life. We also often let a lot of external people or influences make it so that we don't know what we want in life. We do, but we just keep being affected by external forces. So a mind map allows you to take, in this case, 5 minutes with a prompt and have silence, which is so powerful for your mind. You just got to have a little bit of silence sometimes. And you basically are going to write out the answers. So in this case, if we're talking about personal growth, because again, you would want to go through each one of those pillars. Imagine when you say, how do you pick your summits? You're going to pick a summit for each one of the areas of success. You're going to have a personal growth summit, a financial freedom summit, a career success summit, and a community impact summit. Summit being, mountain peak that you are hiking towards. And on personal growth, you would do a mind map that says, what does my ideal life look like? What are things that bring me passion? And you would spend 5 minutes with a timer and just start writing out bubbles from that center circle on your paper saying, okay, these are all the things that I can think of that bring me joy or passion in life, or, are this ideal life for myself personally. Now, personal growth is about you, your mind, what you need, what you feel, hobbies. It could be about education. It could be, spiritual. It's what matters to you as a person. You can get to community and other people later. You do that and you'll be surprised. You give yourself the time and the 5 minutes and come up with any idea. There's no bad ideas. You just write it down. No one has to see this. It's for you to just let it all, out in that moment. Then after that, you're going to make some themes. So you'll actually take everything in your mind map and you'll bubble, oh, hey, I have a lot of things about health. Maybe health is something that I actually really want to focus on, but I never really took the time to write down all these different ideas. So after your mind map, which if you need more time, you can set it for another 5 minutes, but keep it to 10 minutes, at a max, because you don't want to overthink it too. So just, try to keep it to 10 minutes. You start creating themes and you realize, with my personal growth, I'm really centered around health, and I really want to dive deeper into my passion for music. And there's some other ones on this mind map, but those two, those are prominent. I'm going to set those aside as like my big themes. That's how you then can start getting towards knowing, well, what is your summit? Now I have these two big themes where I can say, okay, I want to work on music because why? And you can then kind of go through these 5 whys on each one of these topics where it's like, I want to work on music because it makes me happy. I say, okay, why does it make you happy? Well, because when I'm, performing for others, I see a smile on their face or I hear a story from them that my music changed them in some way. Well, why does that happen? Well, because, my music has a lot of inspirational words and I focus on trying to, change people's minds with my music. I'm making this up live right now, but you just keep asking yourself why questions until you get to the root of that passion, the root of the passion on music, the root of the passion on your health. Because a lot of people will be like, I want to be healthy. Okay, why? I mean, some people want to be healthy because they want to lose weight, or maybe they're trying to gain weight. A lot of people want to be healthy because they want to be like, a, super muscular CrossFit star. And some people just want to have good mental health and live a long, healthy life. And it's, for no other reason but just living life with others and being healthy. You don't know exactly the deep, deep passion in those items until you take the moment to do a mind map, ask yourself why on the themes that you've collected from your mind map, and then make sure it's that final statement, which is a SMART objective. And SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. So you want your ending objective from this exercise to be something like, I'll go back to weight loss for a second because that's an easy one to give an example. I want to lose 10 pounds by, November 10th by going to the gym 3 times a week. That goal is, you can't fight around it. You're saying what the goal is, when you're going to accomplish it, and how you're going to do it. That is the summit. So your fundamental question is like, how do you choose what summit to go by? You got to go through this, somewhat methodological approach to say which summits you want to focus on. And the book goes over like, you can have many summits. You can have many mountains you want to climb. It just like if you were climbing a real mountain, you're going to get to the top of that mountain. You're see a beautiful view. You're going to feel like I did this. Let's say you accomplish one of your goals, meaning you conquered one of your summits, and you're going to see more mountains in front of you because most mountains, although there are examples of, singular mountains in the world, but most are a range and you see more mountains in front of you. You see more things that you want to go climb or hike or conquer in life. And that's why we pick, 4 pillars of success. Narrow down your personal growth, your financial, your career, and your community goals. And those are each your summits. To get those specific goals, do your mind maps. Ask yourself what themes are coming up. Do the 5 whys or however many whys you need to ask yourself to feel like you really get the root, soul out of your goal, and craft it into a statement that is this SMART objective. It's attainable, it's measurable, and it's something that you can live forward on. And I think part of your question before was related about how, like, kind of like living, how you don't want to just like live life in this crazy meticulous planning mode. Well, the key is just make the plan, because now you have made a contract with your own self and your own mind that you want to go accomplish this. So now It's about living your day to day in that direction, right? You choose a path that is, eh, you know, if I wanted to drive from this city to this city, that's I've taken the time to create a plan that I'm going from this city to this city. But again, I'm not saying you have to take a certain road to get there. So when you create these summits and you put them up on a piece of paper, maybe next to your bed or maybe next to the door when you leave your house, you're going to see that. You're going to see, hey, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on these 4 summits in my life. Cool. I'm going to leave my house right now, remembering that. And I'm going to architect my day however it comes. Like, let the universe come to you, because that is important. Flexibility, bringing joy. But the book is mostly designed to say, here is a method to get some of that framework together, so then you can live your life the way you want it to be. And the idea is to get somewhere in the process without feeling like you're in this rigid business environment, right? Like, as a last thing I want to make sure I say is, there's plenty of books out there or programs out there that are very corporate minded, or how businesses should be creating KPIs or these objectives, the key performance indicators that they create. And it's a little dry. I've been in the corporate world for a long time. I understand why it gets dry. That's not what this is about. This is about you as a person, a holistic approach to being you, your personal self, your financial self, which in today's day and age, like, finances matter. We all have to figure that out in some way. And that often leads to your career, because we often spend a lot of time at our jobs, whatever your job might be, whether you're in, multiple gig economy, or you're in, a corporate environment. You're there either because you love it or because it's feeding your finances, and your finances are feeding your personal and your community, your family, friends, and, exterior. So that's why you look at all 4 of these and you create goals around them to be flexible and to live your best life for the best version of you, and to make today so awesome that yesterday gets jealous, which is basically saying, make each day somehow slightly better than yesterday by learning about what yesterday was and asking yourself, how do I grow? How do I keep going? Because having that growth mindset, that positive growth mindset, is what's going to help you get there when roadblocks come your way. And I use that quote in my sign off all the time, because I just feel like there's too much there's a lot of negativity in the world, and there's just a lot of great things, but there's also a lot of things that just seem to bring everybody down. So if I can take a moment to change someone's life, or to take their hand and help them up, I want to do that. And so I like the send off of, come with me and do something today that's going to make, today so great that yesterday is like, man, today's so cool. They're so awesome. And that's the goal, is just live a great life and bring others along the journey with you, because we're all in this together.
Absolutely. And how do people do that? How do they connect with you? How do they get hold of your book so that they can make their life with a great plan?
Absolutely. So my book is currently on Amazon. So if you were to go on to Google, actually, or any other search engine that you use, you should be able to search Conquer Your Summit by Aliki Samone. And you will get a link that will take you in the direction to buy the book, whether it's Amazon. I have paperback and hardback and ebook available. Audiobook is coming soon. So I'm excited about that, but not quite out yet. And that's the easiest way to get it. However, there are some bookstores that are starting to carry it. I know Barnes and Noble has it online as well. So wherever you get your books, you should be able to find it. And that's the best way to get this information. However, if you go to www.conqueryoursummit.com, you'll be able to contact me, And you'll be able to sign up for some of the resources there. There's these free templates. And with the newsletter, I start posting kind of, hey, here's the audiobook. It's coming. There's a course that's coming. There's a workbook that's coming. And I'd love all of you to be part of that journey and, get some coaching if you need it and figure out how to build your 5-year plan, not to be rigid, but so that you can live your best life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much indeed for all the wisdom about making a plan so that your flight to the stars actually happens and does not just end in a flight of fancy. So that plan is going to certainly help. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.